Hello, hello, hello. My name is Robert. I am the recovery guy, and you have entered into The Fix. My name is Robert. I am the recovery guy, and it is good. It is very good to be back in the studio recording another podcast, and I hope you are doing well. I've got a rather busy schedule coming up. If you follow me, this may be of interest to you, but I'm going to be speaking next Wednesday night. And then I've got a podcast to do next Friday afternoon. Next Friday night, I'll be speaking in Palm Coast, Bunnell, Florida area. And then February 7th, I'll be speaking in Orlando. And April 11th, I'm going to be speaking at a conference in the great state of Utah. So I appreciate your support and your involvement in what I do. And if you've never heard me before, what I do is I try to just talk about recovery and talk about the lifestyle change that is necessary to bring about a recovered position. As many of you know, I've been sober quite some time. My sobriety date is April 25th, 1986, and I am forever grateful because AA has certainly saved my life. Hey, tonight I want to talk to you about things that my recovery has taught me. And they're very specific things. There's many more than this, but I want to cover these tonight. First of all, my recovery comes first. Secondly, I will never be perfect, but I will be better. Thirdly, I get back what I put in. If I have time, I want to talk about relapse. If I relapse, I may not ever come back. I may not recover. I may not make it back to the rooms. Also, I want to talk about one day may not hurt me. It could kill me. One drink, one drug. It may not hurt me. It could kill me. It could be the end of my life. Maybe not that one individual drink, but certainly what it could lead to. And then if I have some more time, I can never stop evolving. My recovery affects everyone and everything around me, and sobriety saved my life. Recovery gives me the strength to live it. So let's dive in with both feet in the deep end of the pool, and let's see how much of this we can cover. My recovery must come first, and that word must is very important. It's not that my recovery comes first. My recovery must come first. Everything that I am, everything good about me comes because of my recovery. I make no mistake about it. I am a real alcoholic. And recovery is the foundation to everything I am. A good father, a good husband, a good son. Well, my parents have passed away, but when they were alive, I was a good son. I'm a good sibling. I'm a good friend. I'm a good employee when I work. Nowadays, I'm retired. But my recovery comes first. Everything that I am comes to me because of my recovery, both good and bad, but most of it's been incredible. So everything in my recovery comes before everything else. The minute I put something else before my recovery, it becomes my recovery. And God help me if that ever happens. So I work very hard at working the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. Specifically working steps 10, 11, and 12. And if you're not sure what those are, stick around because I talk about them quite a bit. The next thing I want to talk about, I will never be perfect, but I will be better. And perfection is one of those things that indicates you're done. And as I've said before, and I'll say it again, recovery is not a destination. Recovery is a journey. I never want to wake up tomorrow as I did today. As an example, I woke up today thinking I can be a better version of myself. I don't want to wake up tomorrow knowing that this has been a destination. I want it to always to be a journey. And in that journey involves me doing the best I can for me on a daily basis so I can be a better friend, a better husband, a better father, a better grandfather, all the better things that my recovery has brought me. I may not be perfect at them, but I will be better. That is my goal, to be better today than I was yesterday. If I'm so fortunate to have tomorrow, I want to be better tomorrow than I was today. And that leads me to my third point. I get back what I put in. Like anything else, as an investor, as someone who has money in the bank, I can take money out because I put money in. In the same way with recovery, same way with the sobriety. I can't draw on an empty account in recovery. So whatever I sow, I reap. Whatever I deposit, I can withdraw. Now, hopefully you're dealing with a balance, because sometimes we do make a mistake and we draw more than we put in. But that should be the exception. That is certainly not the rule. The rule is I get back what I put in. Whatever amount I'm putting into my recovery, no matter how hard I'm working toward it and praying and diligently helping the next person. And certainly step 10, continue to take personal inventory. And when I'm wrong, promptly admit it. And that is not, uncommon for me. I'm wrong very often. And it's the promptness. It's not so much as that I'm wrong. It's that I promptly admit it and I ask for forgiveness. I ask to make amends with the desire to not do that again. I do get back what I put in. What I put forth is commensurate on what I get back. And in example, I've said it before, I'll say it again. You show me a person who doesn't receive, and I'll show you a person who doesn't give. Receiving is based upon your giving. So whatever you give, you will receive back. And it's just the law of the universe, the law of nature, the law of God, however you want to frame it. Whatever you put in, you will get back. The next thing is, if I relapse, I may not recover. Oftentimes you hear in the rooms of recovery, I know I have one more drunk in me, but I may not have another recovery in me. And although I agree with that more than I disagree with it, so we'll just go with that. If I relapse, I may not recover. Now, I don't believe I will relapse, providing I'm doing steps 10, step 11, and step 12. If I'm active in my personal recovery, if I'm up on my treatments, the likelihood is I'm not going to fall back on that disease again. But if I ever do, I may not make it back to the rooms. Oftentimes, we hear of people who treat relapse as an oops, as, oh, I made a mistake. The dice that we're rolling when we approach our recovery that way is too big of a risk for me to ever take. Because if I relapse, I may not recover. And that's just the way it is. So the next thing is, one may not hurt me, it could kill me. And that's essentially, if I relapse, I may not recover. That's often the case. One may not hurt me, it could kill me. And it's not so much is that first drink, because it's what that first drink can lead to. Father Martin says it quite well when he says, the person takes a drink and they handle it. They can handle it. And then they take 2 drinks and they can handle that. Then they take 3 drinks and then they drink a pint. Then they drink a quart, and then they drink a half gallon, and the half gallon kills them. The disease of alcoholism is a progressive disease. It says in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, over any considerable period, things get worse, never better. So one may not hurt me, it could kill me. And once again, it's not the one, it's what the one will lead to, which causes my demise. Again, an ounce and a half, a shot of whiskey may not kill me, but a half gallon will. And that's where a half gallon is set up by that first drink, that first involvement, that first slip, that first relapse. Another thing is, I can never stop evolving. This is so true. It gets back to steps 10, 11, and 12. I'm always moving forward. Sir Isaac Newton said, things that are at rest tend to stay at rest. Things that are in motion tend to stay in motion. I'm always changing. I'm always evolving. I'm always striving to be better. I'm never going to reach perfection, but that doesn't mean I can't strive for perfection. That doesn't mean I can't reach as high as I possibly can every single day, because I know that the higher I reach, the higher I will expect, the higher I will achieve. The lower, so if I set my sights on a lower expectation, I will achieve a lower amount. And that's just the way it is. The higher in our evolving, the higher we reach, the more we can expect to attain. Zig Ziglar, one of the great trainers of all time, says goals, and this is a goal, evolving is a goal that we should all have. He said goals need to be realistic, they need to be written, they need to be realistic, and they need to be measurable. There needs to be something. I'm not going to be what I want to be in 5 years today. That's why I have a 5-year plan, and incrementally I make moves toward that. If you want to be a better swimmer, if you want to be a better athlete, if you want to be a better anything, you start incrementally. I have friends who lift weights and they bench press 200, 250 pounds, 300 pounds. They didn't start out that way. They started out with 50, 75, 100, 150, 200 pounds, and they built themselves up. They never stopped evolving. They had a goal of achieving a certain weight, a certain amount, just as a runner will do. You don't start out running an 8-minute mile. You train, you evolve, you work toward that, and eventually, hopefully, you will attain that. The next thing is, my recovery affects everyone and everything around me. That is so true. My recovery, as I live in my recovery, it affects me, it affects others around me, and it affects really everything. My freedom, my position, my approach to life, my smile, my happiness, the happiness of others, let alone the happiness in me. All of my relationships, my recovery affects everyone around me and everything around me. It may not show itself right away. Say if I were to relax on my diligence towards getting well and staying well, it may not wear out. It may take a while, but all of a sudden relationships aren't as good, aren't as vibrant as they used to be, and things around me aren't responding the way they used to, because I've changed my approach to recovery. My recovery, my diligence towards it is why my life is incredible. But if I stopped doing that, it wouldn't be as incredible over time as it is today. The next thing, sobriety saved my life. Recovery gives me the strength to live it. Sobriety is the absence of doing something. Recovery is the addition of doing something. An example, when I stopped drinking, I stopped doing a lot of other things, behavioral and substance abuse, but that was the absence of putting alcohol in my system. To be sober, we just have to stop doing something. Bill Wilson, the co-founder of Alcoholics Anonymous, says in a published book, we feel a man unthinking when he says sobriety is enough. So I take that as meaning the absence of something. We expect ourselves to improve. We expect others to receive us well just because we stopped doing something. Well, alcohol is a symptom of something greater. Something greater is I just didn't know how to live. I didn't know how to not be lonely. I did not know how to interact with others according to their set of guidelines and their boundaries and their principles. So just because I'm not drinking doesn't mean that I fit into that circumstance, into that relationship, into that opportunity. It just means I've stopped drinking. All the other things I do qualify me or allow me back into that relationship, back into that process of living. I didn't have a drinking problem, although drinking caused me problems. I had a living problem that caused me to drink. Does that make sense to you? I really hope that it does. A couple other things that I want to touch on, and I believe this to a partial degree, because I believe there's there's helpers out there involved in the helping community, such as psychologists and psychiatrists and mental health professionals who have not suffered my addiction, but they can help me walk through it. Because there's an adage out there, only an alcoholic can help another alcoholic, or not everyone will get it because they haven't lived it. That's not necessarily true. I believe there's a lot of health professionals out there, and some of us need a little extra help after we stop drinking, help us sort things out. And oftentimes we go to medically trained individuals such as psychiatrists, psychologists, mental health professionals who understand, maybe not from an alcoholic standpoint, but they have enough empathy to be able to relate to loss and to substituting one thing for another. And they can help us sort things out along the way. They can help us get everything out on the table. Another thing is sometimes letting go is less painful than holding on. In the long run, that's true. Sometimes letting go in the long run is less painful than holding on, because eventually that feeling of pain will dissipate as we let go, as we change behavior, and it's substituted by another feeling, which is gratitude, feeling good about choices that we've made. But in the beginning, it can be very painful to change old playgrounds and old playmates and old behaviors and old patterns. Though in the long run, it is better for us. It must be done. If it's not done, we could stand a lot of heartache, a lot of pain, a lot of frustration. It can cause us to relapse. So let's go over these again. My recovery must come first. That is primary. If my higher power does not come first, whatever comes first is my higher power. Whatever my recovery is based on is what my recovery is. So my recovery must come first. Everything after that, after my recovery, is a gift of my recovery. It is not my recovery. I will never be perfect, but I will be better. I get back what I put in. So true. So true. Once again, that bank account example that I gave you. I can't go to Chase, who's my primary bank. I can't go to them and say, I want to get money. They call that a loan. I want to take my money. Well, you have no money left. I have to deposit in order to withdraw. I get back what I put in. And if I relapse, I may not recover. There's no guarantee that I will ever get better again if I go back out and get sick one more time. Next thing we talked about is one may not hurt me. It could kill me. Again, it's not the one, it's the one, it's what the one leads to. Another thing we covered is I can never stop evolving. Always be moving forward. It's a scientific principle. Sir Isaac Newton stated that things that are at rest tend to stay at rest. Things that are in motion tend to stay in motion. Another thing that we discussed is my recovery affects everyone and everything around me. Just like my drinking affected everyone and everything around me, my recovery will affect them in a positive sense. Some relationships will never be restored, some circumstances, some jobs, some situations, but that is far and few between. I guarantee you, your recovery, just as our disease, our active addiction, our active disease affected everyone and everything around me negatively, positively, my recovery affects everyone and everything around me as well. Sobriety saved my life. It opened the door that recovery could give me the strength to live it. I had bariatric surgery. I was formerly obese, and sadly, I was actually 20 years sober when I weighed 395 pounds. My eating disorder came back, even though I did not drink or use or compulsively gamble or go to strip clubs, nothing like that. But my eating disorder came back. And I had gastric bypass surgery January 10th of 2010, January 11th, 2010. And my bariatric surgeon, Dr. Cron, told me all I can do is give you a level playing field. I can make it possible for you to view food differently and give you a platform for losing weight. If you keep the weight off, that is up to you. But you will lose weight based on this surgery. Whether or not you keep it off will be determined by your activity. So I had the surgery and I lost like 160 pounds in, I don't know, I had it in January. By June, by 5 months, I had lost 160 pounds, 170 pounds. I've kept that weight off. I used to weigh 395. I stepped on the scale this morning and I weighed 213 pounds. You do the math. I think that's, 150, 160 pounds. 213, adding 60 pounds to that or 70 pounds to that, 160, 170 pounds to that puts me back where I was. So the point is, in my recovery, I've been able to keep that weight off for 15 years. The same way sobriety, not drinking, was just a stepping stone to my recovery. I hope this helps. I hope it has made a difference to you. I hope you can find yourself putting your recovery first, striving for perfection but claiming progress. Putting in so you can get back. Take relapse off the table because you may not recover again. Remember, it is the train that ultimately kills you. The engine has nothing to do with the caboose. Never stop evolving. Always be moving forward. Always be striving to be the better version of yourself. Understand that your recovery affects everything and everyone around you. And finally, just because you're not drinking doesn't mean you're in recovery. Recovery is moving forward. Recovery keeps that lifeblood going. Gives me the strength to live another day. Thank you so much. My name is Robert. I'm the Recovery Guy. Thank you for all the platforms you follow me on, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Facebook, whether it's my Recovery Guy podcast on Spotify or iTunes or what have you, and of course my YouTube channel.